are live! Woo!
Hello, hi everybody. We are live, and hello everyone, and welcome to this weekly Busy Talk. And we're so happy to have you here with us today. So, weekly business talks is where we have a real conversation about building business, growing online, and creating long-term income with integrity, clarity, and real life in mind. So today we are especially excited because we have a very special guest joining us from Canada.
Everyone, good morning.
Canada.
Lanang, please. Yeah, can you introduce the the host? Yeah.
So we have Hương and Brian from USA, Josh and Phoebe also from USA, me and Lenang and Coach Karen from Canada, from Toronto, and then Vancouver. And we have a special guest, Franco. You still living in Alberta, right?
Alberta, still, yeah.
Yeah, because I need to make sure you travel like all over the
Right.
place. So I need to double check. So we have Franco here with us. And can you take some moment to introduce about yourself to our audience, please?
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon or good evening. Whatever catching this from, or if you get to watch this on a replay. My name is Franco. I was born and raised in the Philippines, and Canada has been my home from the last 14 years. So when I first came into Canada, I was based in Fort McMurray, but after the fire in 2016, I moved out of the city and I moved to Calgary. So Calgary has been my home for more than 10 years now. So prior to the business, I used to juggle between so many jobs, like my fellow immigrants or what we call overseas foreign workers. We move out of our country to basically provide for the people that we love back home. And I think each and every one of us has unique stories to share to other people as well. And apart from that, we use those stories for us to become successful in this business as well, or our wise to become successful in this business. So it was tough, and my journey has been very challenging. After the fire, I was in a lot of debts as well. I was in $37,000 debts
Wow.
spread over 7 different credit cards. And I thought that working 3 jobs will be my way out, of that situation and to get to a better life. But then again, I was wrong. And then I prayed to God for a solution. And now I'm a business owner from the last 7 years.
Wow, congratulations, Franco.
Thank you.
I think you and I kind of entered this business around the same time.
I
And
think we
as you
did.
can see here, most of us are women. If you've been following our interview, most of us are moms. So I know that for you being single, younger, did you
Hmm.
find that that you had a harder time to build your business? Because I know when it came across in the beginning when I was
Right.
here, you have very little men in the business, and I think people just like, oh, this is just for moms. But I
Right.
mean, you've proven them wrong, right? Like
Right.
totally. And I know, like from your story, from struggling 3 jobs, being in debt to now living your
Right.
digital nomad. Because I know for a time you were living in the Philippines for 16 months, like.
Yeah.
So this is what this business
Hmm.
allowed you to do. So I was wondering, did you find like what kind of brought you your success despite that it seemed like you have so many things up against you?
Hmm.
Because I'm sure there are probably men possibly watching
Yeah.
and probably wondering the same thing. We're very fortunate to have Josh and Brian join us here, so we have a mixture of men, so you're not overwhelmed
Hmm.
that you're being attacked by 4 women. But I'm actually very curious of that because I mean my branding's always been around helping parents and particularly
Right.
moms.
Right. I wouldn't say I never felt that I had so many challenges. I know that it's a female dominant kind of industry because there's so many women, doing this business, moms, and for the longest time, I think this is one of the stigma that I wanted to break as well. That social media are more for females, like for ladies and stuff, right? Because they're more active, they're more vocal in terms of what they want to post online. So for me, what has been my take on this is that I just need to share my story. I just need to share why I wanted to become successful, and I want to kind of rebrand as well. That stigma that most of the people have on businesses or on social media. And since I think there are just quite a few percentage of men who's doing the business, I kind of use that as an advantage to myself, because not everyone was doing it during that time. And I thought to myself that if I do it right now, I think I will have a better edge, right? And even if we're going to get the fraction of how many men are doing it, I would say that there's still a little percentage, of men that's doing this business full time. So for me, I just want to give an encouragement probably to all the men out there. If you're a father, if you're single, that you actually have a great advantage to start this business, is because this is where you can truly share your leadership, your skill. And I think that many men excel on platforms like Facebook and TikTok because their content stands out, rather than women, because there's so many, not so many, but so little of us that's doing this business as well. So I would say as well that leadership, automation and digital skills and mentoring are areas where men actually succeed, and we can scale up quickly. So I guess that it was it might be challenging for other people, but I did not find it very challenging, from my end, because I was just being myself. And I was just sharing my stories.
Wow, amazing. Well, I think that's what you nailed it here, because I think it, from what I hear, is like the mindsets, right? So for a lot of men, before they even start, like the same thing I had, this is a woman dominated industry, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm a man, I'm not gonna be able to attract other people into the
Hmm.
business. I think you had a different mindset altogether. And the other thing is, what I really like is, yeah, look at the facts, the truth, where Franco said, even of all the men in the world, if he can just get a small fraction, because realistically, we have over 6 billion people online, and I think over
Right.
2 billion on Facebook. And even if you take a fraction of that being men online, and if you take even 1% of that, that is still like massive number, because we are
It is.
working online. We're not just dealing with local, where within Calgary maybe a few 100,000, maybe a million people, and that's small. But when you're on a global scale, and I think that's why you're able to scale your business to that length
Hmm.
in such a short of time. So yes, I guess I got a lot of insights from you there. So it's the mindset, and just look at the big pictures and the stats
Right.
there, right? I think we get in our head often a lot. Well, thank you for sharing that. I
Very
hope
well
that,
good.
yeah, that
Yeah.
inspire others.
And Karen, I think I also believe that, like success here is about like positioning, the mindset and the execution. It's not really based on demographics. So I think I was just more hungrier, than other people during the time when I was just starting, because I really just want to get out of that situation. So
Yes.
So
yeah.
thank you so much, Franco and Karen. So this is the thing, right? I know when you start in the business, you're talking about, right? You sleep in the car, you work three jobs from 5 a.m. to midnight. So can
Right.
you share people a little bit more about your business journey, and how did you get started, and what is the time that you have, especially you work three jobs already? Thank you, thank
Yeah.
you.
You know what? When I saw this business, first reaction was, since I'm not a social media person, but I was praying to God for a solution. So when I found this business through Michelle Arceo, and I got really interested, I think it's the same way that happened to all of us. Like the ad spoke to you, and there's something about that ad that that stuck with you, right? You couldn't get it out of your mind, of your head, right, of your thoughts. So as soon as I saw it, I was basically doing my due diligence, but I was still asking God through prayers, like, why social media? This is definitely out of my league. This is not something that I see myself would do. And I've realized that I don't think I'm going to be successful in this business. That was my first reaction, right? Because I don't post. I only post 3 times every year. Plus, I have very limited time, if no time at all, because I would wake up at 5 a.m. and then come back home at 12 midnight. So what I have done is I've used my pocket time, like breaks at work, the trip to the washroom, and I'm gonna say this as well to the audience, I'm not gonna be ashamed about it that I was physically present at work, but I was mentally absent because I just know that this business is the right opportunity for me. So every time that I am at the hotel, I will ask my boss, "Can I go to the washroom? Can I go to the washroom?" And my boss will be like, "What have you been drinking? Like, why do you have to go to the washroom each time?" So I will always have like a bottle with me of water, and I will be drinking water. I will show it to him. I will make sure that he sees me drinking water so that he will let me to go to the washroom, because I'm dying to reply to that business inquiry. I'm dying to post online. I became addicted to my dreams, and I became obsessed with my dreams to the point that I was showing up for work, but I was mentally not there. I was just there, my body's there, but my mind was not there. So I sacrificed my lunch when I became a coach. In 2 months of being a business owner, I was sacrificing my lunch, or sometimes I will speak to my clients as well while having my coffee, or sometimes I will excuse myself at work as well so that I could go to a quiet coffee shop, and then in on like whenever I'm on train, that's the time that I use to post on social media. Whenever I brush my teeth, I will be on my phone. Whenever I do my number two, I will be on my phone. So I started, like building this business on the side. But then again, it was tough. It was very tough. But the question is it doable? Yes, it is, because I think my goals and my dreams were like outweighed, like the circumstances, that I was in during that time. So sleep deprived, but then again, I did not use that as an excuse not to become successful in this business. Yep.
Wow, that's amazing. So beside that, any moment in the journey that you think about quitting, and what was the biggest challenge you think
Right.
for you in this business?
Right. Um, Beginning is always the hardest, like this is what all the people would say. And even there are quotes online that would say, beginning is always the hardest. Before a breakthrough happens, everything gets messy. So I kind of tried to live my life, through those quotes as well. It was tough. There was a moment wherein I did not plan on quitting, but I wanted to pause the business
Oh,
because it just got overwhelming at some point. People calling me scammers, people giving me different labels, and it came to a point wherein it was so overwhelming already that I was going through depression. I'm not gonna lie, when I found this business,
oh,
and for somebody to hear those words from other people, like it's gonna hurt you, like even though you're not reactive to it, but at the end of the day, it stays in your mind. You think about it each night, and you question, like, am I built for this? And those were the moments wherein you try and contemplate whether am I gonna make it until the end? Would I see the silver lining? After all of this, would the rain stop? Like those were the questions. And for somebody who was very young, during that time I was just turning 30. And this is my first run in the business and any businesses. It was tough. But then again, I remember that God will not put me through this journey, if He will not get me through it. And I just held on to my dreams. And there was a point in time as well in 2021 when COVID happened that there are some people in my team, and I'm not gonna lie that people come and go, right? This is a business, and that's just the reality. And I really thought that that was the end of my journey here because I saw people leaving because they are seeing other opportunities online, like what we call shiny objects. And to see that the team that I built during that time slowly, drifting away from me, I was like, I talked to my dad, and I told my dad that I don't think I'm a good coach. So I started
oh,
questioning myself, I started questioning my mentorship. But my dad told me, like, even if there's one person that will show up on your meetings, do it with so much excitement for that one person as if you're gonna do it for 100 people. So that actually woke me up, that gave me a wake up call that not because people are leaving, it means that you're losing people. I kind of realized that they actually are losing on the opportunity. They are losing you because they don't share the same vision as you do and the same mission. So I was like, yes. So I got back to the game, and now, I have a very steady, stronger team, and the income stayed the same, like 5-figure income each month. So
Wow.
That's great. Hey, Frank, I wanted to ask you, looking back, you've
mm,
kind of already answered this, but what mindset shift made the biggest difference for you uh, in building this long term success?
I know that I was very impatient. That's probably one of the worst but best mindset that I used to have back in the days. Impatient in such a way that I really wanted to see results like so fast. But then again, that kind of gave me an opportunity to see the areas of my business where that needs tweaking or changing, and I think that kind of catapulted me, like to go to the ranks that I really wanted in this business. But that's one of the mindset, characteristics that I have, that could have, broken my journey or made my journey. But then again, the latter, which is, it kind of made up my journey. That's what happened. But apart from that, I used to be a very, very, very negative person. I pray, but to be honest with you, I was distant from my faith because I started questioning God as well. Like, why me? I'm just 29, 28, Like, why do I feel like I'm a 50-year-old man? Like the energy that I have, I don't get to enjoy my life. And I think that's how I was clinically diagnosed with depression, because I just felt that I was programmed. This is right. This is so true, that I was programmed to just pay bills and die. Like my life did not have any direction, but I found my purpose here in this business. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So I have one more questions. How, like, what achievement so far that you have from the business, physically, mentally, financially, and among those achievements, what you most proud of?
Yeah. So
Oh,
apart from
long, long questions.
apart from all the tangible, achievements, right? Like the money, the properties, and of course, I was doing my math, beginning of January, and I've realized that I've already earned my 32-year salary, in just 7 years. As a previous employee, right? 7 years, 32 years of salary as an employee. So that made my heart very grateful. It kind of kept me grounded even more. But apart from that, it's the face of my mom and dad and my family members that I always would remember. The moment when my mom and dad arrived in Canada. It still makes me teary up to this day. The moment that I saw them walking down the escalators, because it was just my dream as an immigrant. Whenever I get to taste like tasty food here, delicious food, a sumptuous meal. Whenever I get to go places, it's just a wishful thinking that I wish they were here. Like there's this voice that whispers to you, I wish that they could taste this. I wish that they could see this. And there are even crazy moments wherein on my plate, I will set aside like the delicious meal that I'm eating, because I'm telling myself that one day my mom and dad will get to taste this. So I'm keeping that aside on my plate. So when that moment finally happened, when my mom and dad, came to Canada, all sponsored by the business, of course. As soon as they are walking down the escalator, I was sobbing like a little boy, you know, and I told like everything just came in, and I told myself it's happening, it's finally happening. And I was like, yeah, I'm still getting goosebumps. Like up to this day, like had it been that I'm an employee still, that will happen, probably in years. But the question is, are they going to be here? Are they going to be alive? So the age of my parents, they're now 65. They kind of added the pressure in me as well, because I wanted them to experience life, for once, because I know they have done their very best to provide for us, and I think it is my responsibility, though it's not a responsibility of any children, but to give back and make their life comfortable, because they used to sleep on the floor, right? And it's a biggest slap of insult to me each time I come back home to the Philippines, knowing that I'm away from them, but I couldn't even build a decent room for my mom and dad. But I was given and blessed with a 5-bedroom home, back in the Philippines because of this
Wow.
business. And God is so good, because I was able to build a swimming pool right next to it, where my mom and dad are enjoying right now. So it's just crazy, Only if people would know and would see what's in my heart, like it's screaming gratitude because of this business.
Wow, that's amazing. And I
Mhm.
think it's not only your stories. We've seen so many similar stories in our community where this business has allowed, once something that once was only a dream become a reality. So in a similar way, the same thing with mine too. Is like, I know that with me working at my lab still, I would never be able to support my parents in retirement, even though they're already in Canada. But still, like you said, this is something was not possible, even if we wanted to. So it's like, it's so like touching. And I think because you have such a big why, that's why you're able to push through all the obstacle, and it just comes back to a full circle. Like, obviously there's so many new shiny objects that you said, so many opportunity out there. So if someone happens to be watching this and come across our chat here, what would you say to them, like, given what you know now? Like, what would you have told your Franco like 6-7 years ago if that Franco was looking at opportunity? Because I'm sure there are the people just kind of wading their way through this sea of internet opportunity, not knowing what is legit, what is real, what is sustainable.
Right.
Because like you said, we've seen people left communities for other things, and some actually came back because they know, and those other things wasn't sustainable. And I think a lot of people fall in the trap of the get rich quick because they just feel like being online, because everything online is super quick. You send an email, you send a text, someone receives it right away. So they say when they start a business online, they expect making 10,000 the next month, which doesn't happen. And they feel like the business doesn't work. So when they're given an opportunity or shown an opportunity, well, you can start making, 10K next month, next week, then they jump on board. But we all know often that's not the case. So, what kind of, I guess, insights or advice would you kind of give to someone that is trying to explore this online space?
Sure. I think all of us are given or gifted, with a mind, with a mind that thinks, that can think, right? So I guess you just really have to do your due diligence. I don't think anyone was born stupid, and that's the reason why we go through education. That's the reason why we have the capacity to know which is right from wrong, right? And the thing is, that's exactly what we all have done here. We have done our due diligence. But if you're looking for stability, for long term, sustainability and stuff like that, I've never seen a community like ours, though it's my first run. But hearing horror stories from other people that I've coached, like, they've joined this opportunity and after they have taken my money for investment, they're gone. So this is not the case with us. I'm not financially connected to Wong, Lan, PB and Josh, Karen. We actually are in the same community, but we have, different structures, right? Financial structures, and we're not connected to each other. But then again, if anyone becomes a buyer right now, like through this go live, I'm not going to be incentivized by this or monetized by it, but we help each other. So this actually shows how we help each other in our community, and this is something that is not present in all businesses out there, because we have thrived, for nearly 10 years now because of the integrity, the heart that we have for people, and that is to serve you guys and to help you, get to success. And apart from that, if you're somebody who's jumping from one opportunity to another, you can be impatient like me, but you have to be impatient in a good way, right? You really have to be impatient about the results from that specific opportunity that you sign up for. But if you start jumping from one business to another, you really have to question yourself, will there be anybody in your circle or in the future that would trust you, knowing that you did not even succeed, in one business that you signed up for from the beginning, and now here you are, delving onto another opportunity. Like, where will your integrity be, if you're just jumping from one opportunity to another because you just want to be part of that get rich quick scheme? And this is not definitely a get rich quick scheme, because we help people. We're after the results, that you can get through this business. No, we're after you becoming successful, after you get the results through this business. So yeah, I think that's my message.
Wow, so inspiring, Coach Franco, and you're living proof of, regardless of how busy you are, what kind of schedule you have, and even your experience, that you can plug in here, be coachable, and win and succeed. And meanwhile, if you look at our community, there's still a lot of people that either they just started and they're looking for that right direction, or maybe they're stuck. What advice would you give them?
Okay. I always have believed that we all have the power to turn our situation around, but what's keeping us stuck in a certain situation is also us, ourselves. But if you're going to unblock, what's stopping you? I think for most of the people, it's actually the fear that's stopping them, that's keeping them stuck. If you're already in this business, you are in the right opportunity. It's not even the question about whether the business works or not, because it definitely works. Look at these amazing faces that I have with me here in this Go Live. These are 5, 6 figure earner that has been in the business. These are ordinary, everyday people who have turned their situations around. It's because they did not, let their situations, the fears, the excuses to be in the way. I always have believed that if you have big dreams, that should be enough reasons to outweigh, the other excuses that you have. And sometimes it's also our mind that's telling us that you cannot do it, you're not built for it, and these are just something that you really have to battle with, or in our mind, there's what we call small and big muscles, right? So consider that you have big muscles and these are your dreams, and the small muscles are just your excuses. So punch those small muscles, with that big muscle so that you can become successful. And trust me, it's just your mindset that's holding you back, nothing else. Yeah.
Amazing. That's
That
amazing.
is so true. It's like
Yeah.
it's always our mindset. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not sure. I think he really gave us a really big peek into what is possible with this opportunity here, to sharing his journey. From a struggling immigrant working 3 jobs to now living a digital nomad life. Because I know he just, before we were chatting before we went live, that he just came back from the Philippines yesterday. So, and then Lana's like, "Where are you now?" Because it seems like he's always traveling. I know he was in Europe a couple of months ago. So this is what is possible for many of us with this business. Many of us here come from backgrounds with no online background or tech skill, like myself or Lanan, and I think most of us can, attest to that. But it's just not ordinary people. But we have people from different profession as well. So Hebe is a full-time registered nurse, right? So as a nurse in Florida or in the US, income is not something small, but she still chose this path. I ran my own business and I'm here. And then, Ji Hung and Lanan, Lanan was a full-time mom when she came to Canada, but Ji Hung had her own education business. So it's not just for like ordinary people, because I think that what we need for most of us here, what we found when we came to, I guess, live in America or the USA or Canada, is like, go for that American dream, especially for most of us are immigrants to North America. You think, but after we come here, we realize we are gonna got in this trap of, like Franco said, like enslaved in this routine, like we're robotics, just living for a paycheck just to pay the bills, right? And what was missing was that freedom, that flexibility of time. So I think that was what most of us was searching for. And I guess in order to have that freedom and flexibility, you need to be able to generate income that can, support your lifestyle and give you that time, flexibility, and freedom. So I'm not sure, Ji Hung, can we see any comment in the chat if any of our guests that's watching live have question? If not, then I guess we can wrap it up.
Yeah, actually, we have a 14. I just saw 18 people watching our live, and now 40 people watching our lives.
That's
And
right.
so, Franco, are you willing to take a couple questions from the audience? They might have a
Absolutely.
question. Yeah,
Sure,
I
sure.
think that they're really interested in your story.
Okay.
So, hi, the audience. Would you like to ask any question from our special guest speaker today?
Yeah.
And you can drop it in the comment, and so we can bring your question.
Yeah, we have a question here asking about,
Cool.
like if you are so introvert and you are so shy with social media, can they do this business?
Yeah. I'm
The
actually
right
the prime.
person.
I'm the prime example of that, but
Yeah.
I'm up to now. I'm still an introvert. Doing this interview, my hands are still wet and very cold. Even my feet. So it's really all about stepping out of your comfort zone. That's where the breakthrough happens, right? But of course, through our trainings and elite, mentorship and coaching, we won't force you to do stuff that you're not comfortable with, but we will make sure that you're provided with the right tools, the right skills, that you can learn along the way as well. That will help you, become more extroverted or become somehow extroverted. So there's a way. Don't worry.
Wow. I haven't seen any comment.
Watching from Michigan.
Yeah, some people watching from Michigan. Yeah.
Love your story.
Yeah, love your story. Yeah, of course, we love your
You.
story. Yeah. And somebody say living, watching live from USA, but I don't know that especially that part. But all right, so wow, we took 30 minutes from you. And anyway, thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much for sharing your journey and your honestly and also your wisdom with us. Yeah, we love your story and truly appreciate your time and your
It's a
heart.
pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you everyone who joined our live today. And if today's conversation was helpful, please like, share, and stay connected with us every Wednesday, our weekly busy talk. And we believe that in building business with patience, with integrity, and a long-term thinking, and also that today conversation was reflected that. So we will see you next Wednesday on our weekly visit talk. And thank you
God
so
bless
much for
everyone.
So see
Thank
you
you,
sharing.
Papa. Thank you,
Bye.
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Amazing, amazing.
Bye.
already.